A very good evening to you and welcome to IDEA TV News at 9. I am Cynthia Bassi. We begin with the headlines. President AIDE highlights tech challenges in tracking bandits in Nigeria. South Africa unveils first underground gold mine in 15 years. ONDO Council Chair mobilizes monarchs in fight against insecurity. And police bus interstate kidnapping syndicate arrests 7 in Gombe. Murphy Oil mobilizes Deepwater rig for first Cote d'Ivoire exploration well. And away from Africa, Chinese Premier Lin Kang chairs meeting on carbon reduction, administrative law oversight. And in business, OPTIVA Capital unveils 2026 global investment outlook for African investors. And in sport, 2026 World Cup under human rights spotlight as fears mount over safety and press freedom. Now the news in full. Tracking bandits in Nigeria has become increasingly difficult due to criminals' use of foreign internet services, according to Daniel Bwala, Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on policy communication. Speaking in an interview, Bwala explained that while local social media and internet services can be traced by security agencies, platforms operating outside Nigeria, such as Starlink, present major challenges. Bwala noted that many bandits and terrorist groups use digital tools and social media from outside the country, complicating efforts to pinpoint locations and intercept communications. He cited examples from Ukraine and Russia, where similar challenges hinder intelligence operations, and stressed that cellular services from neighboring countries further obscure criminal activity in Nigeria. The comments come amid a surge in insecurity across the northwest and northeast, where banditry, terrorism, and kidnappings have targeted communities, disrupted local economies, and endangered school children. Reports indicate that some groups are using platforms like TikTok to flaunt weapons, ransom payments, and recruit new members, highlighting the growing role of digital communication in organized crime. Moving on, South Africa has officially opened its first underground gold mine in more than 15 years with the inauguration of the Kala Shallows project by West Mining. The mine was launched on Friday, December 5, 2025, in an event attended by the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe. The project is expected to produce about 70,000 ounces of gold annually over a projected lifespan of 12 years. The Kala Shallows mine is the first phase of the larger Witwatersrand Basin project, which targets total production of up to 200,000 ounces of gold per year. Development costs for the new mine are estimated at $44 million, with the first gold pour scheduled for March 2026. The launch comes at a time of strong performance in the global gold market, with prices rising by about 60% since January 2025. Authorities project the mine will generate approximately $1.15 billion in economic value and create around 1,000 direct jobs. The development is expected to boost national revenue, revitalize mining activity in the historic Witwatersrand region, and strengthen South Africa's long-standing position as a major gold-producing nation. In another news, the chairman of Akure North Local Government Area, Mr. Johnson Ogunbolude, has appealed to traditional rulers to support government efforts in combating insecurity. Distributing official vehicles to enhance their mobility and surveillance capabilities. The initiative follows recent armed attacks on 4 communities in the council area, which claimed over 20 lives. Speaking at the vehicle distribution ceremony in Ita, Ogunbolude emphasized that empowering monarchs will strengthen grassroots intelligence gathering, rapid response, and community vigilance. The measure aligns with Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa's broader security strategy for Ondo State, particularly in rural areas with dispersed settlements and vulnerable farmlands. In addition to security drive, the council chairman distributed 20,000 naira each to 300 elderly women under the elderly welfare scheme, providing arrears for 2 months. Ogunbolude said supporting vulnerable groups contributes to social stability and reduces socio-economic pressures that can exacerbate insecurity, while further security measures are expected to be unveiled soon. The Gombe State Police Command, working with the Professional Hunters Association, has dismantled an interstate kidnapping syndicate, arresting 7 suspects and recovering a general-purpose machine gun during intelligence-led operations. The arrest followed weeks of surveillance linked to kidnapping and cattle rustling activities across Gombe, Bauchi, Yobe, and Adamawa states. The breakthrough began on November 23rd with the arrest of 40-year-old Abdullah Ibrahim in Funakaye local government area after a tip-off from a resident. His interrogation led to coordinated raids on several criminal hideouts on November 28, during which 6 more suspects were arrested after a brief gun battle. The suspects are believed to have generated an estimated 150 million naira in ransom from multiple kidnappings. Police also recovered 1 GPMG and 8 rounds of live ammunition from a bush hideout in the Gadam area. Investigators have linked to the group to a January 15, 2025 kidnapping in Akko local government area, where a victim was held for 2 weeks before 15 million naira ransom was paid. The suspects are currently under further investigation and will be charged to court as the police reaffirm their commitment to strengthening security across Gombe State. The US-based energy firm Murphy Oil has mobilized the Deepwater Cyprus drilling rig offshore Abidjan as it prepares to drill its first oil exploration well in Côte d'Ivoire. The move marks the company's first field operation in the country and kicks off a 3-well offshore exploration program, according to reports on Thursday, December 4th this year. Murphy Oil currently holds between 85 and 90% stakes in 5 offshore blocks: C1102, C1103, C1502, and C1531 and C1709 under production sharing contracts signed with the Ivorian government and the national oil company, Petroki. While the company has not disclosed which specific block will host the first well, Block C1103 contains the Pond Prospect, a previously identified exploration site. The operations fall within the oil-rich Tano Basin, which spans both Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana and hosts several major regional discoveries. Ivorian media reports on November 25 also revealed Murphy is seeking to acquire a 6th offshore block as part of the plans to expand its exploration footprint in the country. However, the company is yet to release timelines for drilling completion or post-exploration activities, describing the program as a purely exploratory campaign with operational details still being finalized. We'll now take a quick break. The news continues when we return.
(5G) technology. 5G technology promises to be a game changer by delivering ultra-fast internet speeds, low latency, and the ability to connect millions of devices seamlessly. It's going to fuel the future of smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and IoT devices, allowing them to communicate in real time. However, 5G rollout isn't without hurdles. High costs of infrastructure and regulatory issues in some regions have slowed down implementation. By 2026, the 5G market is expected to be valued at $667.90 billion, with the US, China, and South Korea leading the change. The challenge? Cybersecurity risks and data privacy will remain top concerns as more devices become connected.
Now, good to have you back. If you're just joining, this is IDEA TV News at 9. Now the rest of the news. Away from Africa, Chinese Premier Li Qiang presided over a State Council executive meeting on Friday to review progress on energy conservation, carbon reduction, and business-related administrative law enforcement. The session also discussed the draft regulation on administrative law oversight, a draft firefighters law, and measures to crack down on tobacco-related illegal activities. The meeting emphasized advancing energy and carbon reduction efforts with higher standards and quality, tailoring policies to local conditions, and promoting green production and lifestyles. Officials noted that this year's campaign to regulate business administrative enforcement had achieved positive results, highlighting the need to further standardize law enforcement and clarify authorities' responsibilities. In addition, the draft firefighters law, approved in principle, will be submitted to the National People's Congress Standing Committee. Authorities also plan stricter supervision and enforcement to curb tobacco-related illegal activities and strengthen the national tobacco market environment, alongside consolidating fire safety management to prevent major accidents. And now in business news, OPTIVA Capital Partners, an Africa-focused investment, immigration and wealth management firm, has released its 2026 investment advisory and outlook, urging African investors and families to adopt the global investment mindset. Chairman of the firm, Franklin Inechi, described 2026 as a critical year for wealth diversification, international mobility, and long-term financial security in an increasingly interconnected global economy. Inechi said global mobility is now a strategic tool for wealth creation and protection, noting that second citizenship and residency options have become essential for entrepreneurs, professionals, and high net worth individuals. According to him, access to global markets, education, healthcare, and investment networks now defines true economic security rather than geographic limitation. OPTIVA Capital, which operates across North America, Europe, the Caribbean, and the Middle East, says 2026 will be its year of global access, with plans to expand into international real estate, wealth retention investment, and advanced financial advisory services. The firm says its goal is to help African investors protect, grow, optimize, and enhance their wealth across multiple jurisdictions for long-term stability. And now in sports news, the 2026 FIFA World Cup Human Rights Group have raised serious concerns over the safety of immigrants, visitors, workers, and journalists during the tournament. The competition will run from June 11 to July 19, 2026 across 16 venues in the United States, Mexico, and Canada, featuring a record 104 matches, with the final scheduled for MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Rights advocates fear that intensified immigration enforcement under U.S. President Donald Trump could lead to arrest of workers and travelers during the Games. The warning was issued by a coalition including the American Civil Liberties Union, NAACP, Amnesty International, and Reporters Without Borders, who have written to FIFA President Gianni Infantino demanding clear safeguards. They cautioned that FIFA risks turning the tournament into a platform for authoritarian practices if it fails to act decisively. Press freedom has also emerged as a major concern, with groups stressing the need to ensure journalists can cover the tournament freely and safely. FIFA says it is working with a White House task force to facilitate global participation, while the 2026 guidelines promise protections against discrimination, trafficking, and abuse of migrant workers. However, with no official response yet to the rights groups' demand, scrutiny of FIFA's human rights commitments continues to intensify. And that's all we have for you on IDEA TV News at 9. But before we go, here is a recap of the headlines. We brought you news that President AIDE highlights tech challenges in tracking bandits in Nigeria. And South Africa unveils first underground gold mine in 15 years. ONDO Council Chair mobilizes monarchs